What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host, your captain, and your dad. And here in the studio with me is the nerd dad, Zech Keenan.
What's up, everybody? I'm back to being number 2.
Whoa. No, there's no...
I've been number 2 my whole life, buddy. So... normally get it on your shoes, so it's
I don't see him introducing you second.
That's true. That's true. Always last. You save the best for last.
That's right.
Awesome.
The one, the only, JJ Purdom.
What's happening, everybody? It's great to be here in the virtual studio. G Money, Garrett Morley, it's so good to see you back. Although I will tell you, Zech and I created an awesome rapport, and we never fought. It was like a harmony, a music, man. We worked together so well. There was no arguments, but in jumping on earlier on before we started, rolling tape or however this thing works, because I don't know. I just show up.
We don't use tape anymore. It's 2020
Actually,
okay, I was pretty sure that's the case. You guys literally when I got into the app and you guys were already on board because I came a few minutes late, and it was awesome. You guys were full on in a fight. And I'm like, man, Garrett, welcome back. It's so good to see you back in. And obviously, the blood pressure for Zech was up at a 10 right away. I'm like, we haven't even started rolling. Can you save that energy for the show? Just save it for the show, man.
I'm gonna start signing in late.
Yeah.
So here, rightly so though. Okay, I just want to let the audience know. Okay, Garrett expressed to me that he beat Bioshock 1. Maybe Bioshock 2, which are both great games. Obviously, the first one's better than the second one.
Right.
And then he said he played 3 Infinite for only 2 hours. And any true gamer that has played through all 3 of those amazing games knows that the end of 3 is kind of a big deal. And so when Garrett's telling me, hey, I only played through a couple hours. That's like saying you watched through the first 2 Lord of the Rings and then only got through like the first 15 minutes of Return of the King. Or you watched, like some of the Harry Potters, but you didn't make it to the end.
I haven't watched any Harry Potters, so.
He's watched Harry Potter 1. He's watched Harry Potter 1, and that's the only one he's ever watched.
I've watched the first one like probably 6 times or more.
Why? They get better as they go.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I always sit down and I always borrow the collection from someone. I'm like, I got to start at 1. I don't know why. I've already watched it like 5 times. I'm like, I got to start at 1 if I'm going to watch the whole collection, right? And then I never get past the first one because
they get darker. They get darker and, probably a better way to put it, they get more grown up as they go. Like you watch the first one, it's like watching like a Disney film. By the time you get to the end,
they're a bunch of like little kids.
By the last one, by part 2 of the 7th film. Yeah. It's actually full on adult film. It's an orgy. It's an adult film. They go. I'm pretty sure it's.
I think you watched the wrong Harry Potter.
Oh no! You know what? Yeah. You're right. I never finished Deathly Hallows. Oh my gosh.
So, but anyway, Gary, you owe it to yourself to finish Bioshock. And I told him if he doesn't start Bioshock, if he doesn't finish Bioshock Infinite, or at least start it this week, I quit. I can't be on the show with him anymore until he starts it.
Okay.
Does it count if he just Googles? If he Googles the info, does that count?
YouTube the end?
No.
He does that a lot.
No. What kind of stupid?
I love how offended. Oh man.
It's because you don't understand. You don't understand. You gotta finish it.
Okay.
And that's what I walked in. Garrett, it's great to see you back here on the show.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Man, I need to. I'm trying to keep an eye on the clock. So we started around 8, huh? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So things have been crazy. I've taken the last couple weeks off. Thank you guys for carrying the show on your backs. You guys have been killing it. Here's a little.
We've been trying to get rid of as many viewers as possible.
Get rid of his. Okay. Well, To be honest, I've only listened to. It's just like how I've only played a little bit of Bioshock. I've only listened to a little bit of the last couple episodes. So I don't know. So you could have said anything you wanted about me, and you probably did.
We did. We did. Trust me.
Only nice things.
Only positive things.
Garrett would never know. Could have said, "You're my idol, and I want to be just like you when I grow up."
We could have said stuff like you had cosmetic surgery to remove a third nipple that is slightly under your right nipple and is a growth. We might have said something along those lines. Hashtag.
I mean, we are already in the OR for my son's birth, so I was just lifting up my shirt. I'm like, hey, can you take care of this while I'm in here?
Yeah, they're like, sure, why not? You have insurance, right?
Yep, 100%, totally. Wink.
They're like, did you finish Bioshock Infinite? Then no.
No, not gonna happen. Get out of here, you third nipple.
We don't help out quitters.
Okay, in my defense, and I told Zetch just beforehand too, and he says it's not a real excuse, but it's not called Bioshock 3, it's Bioshock Infinite. It's a different character, a different world, and so my assumption, and obviously it's a wrong assumption based off of the way you're reacting, my assumption was always like, oh, it's a separate story, separate characters, it's not connected in any way. Like, yeah, maybe it takes place in the same world, but similar to like, I'm trying to think of a movie that like, they take place in the same world, but they never like cross over. So that's what I assumed it was, like that sort of thing. But the way you're reacting, I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's obviously a little more connection to him than I thought. So I'll try to get back to it. But you have to understand, like, it makes sense. Like, it's not Bioshock 3, it's Bioshock Infinite. You know,
but you're an idiot. You sound like you're making excuses right now. Basically, you're saying, hey guys, one of the greatest games of all time. And
okay, JJ, you've never even turned the game on. You don't even know.
Oh no, I've never played it at all. But I'm making fun of you right now. So why don't you like stop pointing the finger at me? Because when you're pointing the finger at me, you got 3 pointing back at yourself, fake gamer.
That's why I was.
This is about you right now. Yeah, that's right. This is about you right now, buddy.
Okay. I see how it is. I come back, grace you with my presence, and I just.
Yeah.
Not wanted
you know
here.
what?
I'm apparently no longer wanted here. You only came
back. Let's be completely honest, Garrett. You only came back because you're tired of changing dirty diapers, and because Zetch, my main buddy, my new best friend, he called you out on the fact that you were actually taking time away from your podcast, from your pirate ship, because you were on another show. And he's like, dude, you have time to be on another show, somebody else's podcast, the Super Best Friends Video Game Sleepover Podcast, or whatever the name of it is. And you're
sleeping over with buddies.
You're sleeping over with your friends, but you're not able to give a couple of hours to your best friends in the whole world, the show that you pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to know my response was I don't know if you read it, but I love how like when I can join their podcast, I can pull a JJ where I just show up and talk and peace out. No, it doesn't cost me any other than like the hour and a half, 2 hours of the episode. I was able to peace out after that.
You did say that, and I did see the response, and I got to tell you, I laughed out loud. I was like, that's fantastic. I was so proud of you, and I actually was like, you know what? Garrett got that comedic timing from me. He got that from me for spending time with me over the last couple of years, because 2 years ago, you weren't funny at all. So now you're starting to, through osmosis, pick up some of the things that I do and say, and it's bleeding over into your everyday life. And that, my friend, is why you just had a second child. You're welcome.
And some people might even say I'm the better JJ. I've heard that too. That's why I was asked to be on the Super Best Friend Video Game Sleepover podcast.
It's true. You know what? Of us were invited.
No, well, actually, I was. I had every one of the hosts, because there's like 7 of them. I had all of them reach out, send me DMs. They were DMing me. That means direct message. Yeah, they were sliding into my DMs. And I told them, you know what? Why don't you throw Garrett a bone? Garrett is a lonely guy who doesn't really ever finish video games. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, never finished Bioshock Infinite. Why don't you guys have him on the show?
I bet you they wouldn't have had you on their show. They would have had you on their show if they would have known you didn't finish Bioshock Infinite.
That's true. That's true. You need to be a little more forthright, Garrett. Stop hiding stuff.
I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Yeah. I'll do my best to rectify it this week.
You better. I ain't kidding.
I'm not sure about you, Zetch, but I feel so good about beating Garrett up right now that it excites me to no end, and it makes me want to talk about our incredible people that support us on Patreon.
Well, first today we're going to be talking about Bioshock 4. New Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer expansion. That's exciting. An epic battle of corporate proportions. I love our writer is fantastic. He'll remain unnamed at this point, but our writer he does good work. He does good work, and so much more. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our super gamer producer, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. Shout out to you. Although I'm extremely sad because in the Discord, some of you may have seen, also on Twitter, he officially posted on Twitter today that he is done with Sony, with PlayStation. He actually put out a tweet says done and done, clean. He packed up his PS4. I'm assuming he traded it in and he's going full Xbox. So rest in peace, Adrian's PlayStation. But honestly, like, I respect the decision based off of the crap he went through.
Did he really get rid of his whole PlayStation? I mean, he's already got an account.
Yeah, but his old account must have apparently had like other game purchases and trophies and stuff that I don't know the whole situation, but all I know is he had a really terrible time with customer service with Sony, and honestly, like, I respect him for standing his ground and being like, no, I'm done with this crap. So
he really stuck it to him. They're like, oh man.
Well, he did tag him and call him out on Twitter. So my heart goes out to Adrian, because I know, Garrett, you actually had a very similar situation several years back where you had some charges that were done, and they're like, well, what do you want us to do? We're not going to do anything. Yeah,
they didn't help me out at all either, but I'm too loyal. I'm to a fault. I could never turn on Sony. They could stab my firstborn child. And
when it comes to customer service, I kind of give them a little bit of grace, just because I know that, like, I've been on that side. I've been on that side of the phone call, and literally, there's nothing you can do. Like,
but they told him. But they did tell him there was something they could do, and then when he called back with the information, they're like, "No, we can't help you." So they kind of lied.
They probably had somebody. They probably had somebody that was like, didn't know exactly what they were talking about. Come to find out, oh, oops, there is nothing I can do. And then a lot of those places, they don't hang on to your password. They don't have a record of it. They don't.
Which seems crazy.
They do it for personal protection. Like, what if, like, for protecting its hacks, which Sony has been hacked.
Yeah, that's how my account.
They do it for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, that's how my account got stolen. Was in those 2012, 2013 hacks.
Yeah,
they got me. But anyways, let's shout out the rest of our super gamer sponsors.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying I understand the other side. Sorry, Adrian. It's a bummer, bro. I feel ya. I wouldn't give away my PlayStation 4. I'm like, I love it. I've still got games on this thing that I'm going to play.
We also have our super gamer sponsors, Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Dustin Long, Brent Fox, and Daniel James. If you want to have your name shouted out on the show, you could support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, just like these folks did. But we're going to talk about that more later on in the show. We mentioned it a little bit ago, was our Discord. I just want to shout this out too. You guys should go check out our Discord, supergamerboys.com/Discord, Discord, DISCORD. And you can join us during the week chatting about bad customer service experiences, what games JJ's not playing, movies you're watching. We have a lot of fun conversations, so you should join us over there.
Games Garrett doesn't finish.
Games I don't finish. Cool. So this is a new segment on the show, apparently, since I've been gone. It's called Mailbag. Is there any sort of like intro or theme song, music?
No,
nothing.
Mail time.
I know, that's what I instantly thought of. I thought of Blue's Clues. That's all I thought of was Blue's Clues.
It's the mail. It never fails. It's the mail.
Yeah, there you go. Mailbag. There, did it. There's your intro, perfect. Guys.
I love it. I was a little like Mike Wazowski-esque. I kind of like that.
Yeah, we'll go with that from now on. I got it on lock.
Awesome. So this first question comes from Serpents a lot via Instagram. This one's a little bit of an inside joke that I picked up on as soon as I read it. I'm like, oh, Derek. If you could have a snow globe designed specifically for you, what would be in the center?
What would be
a wrestling ring
for me?
A wrestling ring.
For me, it would be a wrestling ring.
Okay.
That's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
Any like wrestlers or just the ring? Like, would there be any
You know
other
what?
like little extras in there?
It would be awesome if it was Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, 1987 in the Pontiac Silverdome, 93,000 people out in the audience. Yeah, if it was a wrestling ring with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, a real life superhero slamming the big bad giant, that would be amazing.
Okay.
It's one of those iconic moments from my childhood that I'll never forget.
That's awesome. For me, it would definitely be something PlayStation related. Like maybe a little, like all the little, I think it'd be all like the first party Sony characters in there, just a little group of them, Avengers style, all posing in the snow. It looks super epic. You'd spin it around just like in the Avengers movie. Or it'd be one of those like wind up things, like also a little music box too, and they spin and it plays like a cool, I don't know, epic music from God of War maybe. Speaking of Sir Prince-a-Lot, Roka, I know you haven't done your answer yet, but he's actually the one who hooked us up with this bad boy.
Ooh, yes.
Look at that.
For our listeners listening to the audio version, these are some dope new t-shirts we got in. It basically looks like a Game Boy Advance with our faces on the screen. This is Super Gamer Boys. It is the coolest, most legit shirt.
Our little logo underneath the screen. Yeah, we have a ton of shirts, and we're hoping to start using them for some giveaways, either on our social media, on the show. I think it would be cool to send some out to our Patreon supporters, so I might be hitting you guys up for your addresses. But yeah, so what would be your answer?
So I would be, since it's a snow globe and there's snow involved, it would be when my wife and we were dating, and it was the first time we ever went ice skating was at Yosemite in the winter, and that was awesome. It was like, oh, you're jealous that you didn't think of something actually important. But
I changed my answer. You know what it'd be? It'd be Sam it'd be Sam Bridges hiking over a mountain. Check out my awesome. Did you guys see my Death Stranding vinyl I got? Limited edition Mondo vinyl.
I'm not gonna. That's pretty dope. That is pretty dope.
I know you're.
But yeah, that would be mine. That'd be pretty cool. I'm not a snow globe fan. There's literally nothing else. Even if it was a video game or something pop culture-y, I probably wouldn't even care. I'd be like, looks like a lame sauce. Snow globe.
Myself, I'm not a snow globe fan, but in our game of D&D that we've been doing for a few months, my character collects snow globes from all the towns we visit along the way.
Nerd.
So, yes.
Zedge beat me to it. He beat me to it. I think it needs to be screamed at the rooftops. Nerd.
I play D&D. I play Warhammer. Like, I've been doing a whole lot of painting lately. I'm a nerd.
But
I'm a super nerd.
You haven't finished Bioshock Infinite. I see.
Yeah.
Because painting Warhammer is fun.
Get your priorities straight. Get your priorities straight.
Next question from Kajoma01 via Discord. What is your favorite country you have visited or wish you could visit?
I don't like traveling.
I've never been out of the country, but I would love to go to Ireland. I would love to go to Ireland. Yeah.
That's where I'd go to.
You guys are...
Go visit the motherland.
So boring.
What?
Really?
What?
Okay.
Have you been to Ireland?
No, but I've been to like a whole lot of other countries that are pretty cool.
So Ireland's boring because you went somewhere else?
Yes, exactly. No, more so is I can't believe you guys haven't like been anywhere. It's like JJ's never left the country. It blows my mind.
I haven't left the country either. I haven't even been to Hawaii.
Nope. Yeah.
I've been to Minnesota and Pennsylvania.
And
Colorado.
Does not count.
And Kansas.
Okay.
Oh,
that
nice.
That might count.
My wife's from Kansas.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Kansas is the worst.
I don't know your wife at all. So I said that, but I don't know your wife at all. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't explain anything.
Here I was thinking about moving to Nebraska. And then you guys say that. And I'm like, oh, it should be really great, right?
So we live in California. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, we do. Oh, my favorite country? Papua New Guinea or Australia. One of those two. They're super dope. Australia is super cool. Other than
Australia
everything there,
scares me.
there's a lot of
The
really
prison
deadly
country with all the deadly stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
That continent literally tries to eat everyone that goes there or lives there. Everything on that continent that exists naturally is engineered to get rid of human beings.
to kill.
Even the ants, okay? The ants there literally are known for picking up and carrying away babies.
But they have such cool accents.
The
they do have
ants?
cool accents.
The ants have amazing accents. They have amazing antsets, you know? It's hard hard to mix those two words together.
Okay, that's for the Nerd Dads podcast. Stay in your lane.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's been changing a lot of diapers and been home with the kids a lot lately, Zetch. Give him some slack.
Oh, man, I will. I'm sorry. It's great. That was a good dad joke, and I am jealous of it. That was solid. That was a solid dad joke.
Thank you. Now that I have two, I have to like really bring my A game, I feel like.
Do you follow Do Less Dad on Instagram?
No.
You need to follow Do Less Dad on Instagram. He's hilarious. He's my favorite. Super good.
Let's check it out.
Check him out.
Cool. Well, that's it for mailbag. I think it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Okay, the first news story here is good one. Zetch is, so stoked about this story.
Real quick, can I just interject?
Can
I interject for just a second? In the previous couple of weeks that you've been gone, Garrett, I know that Zetch is not a fan of the nerdy nudes. Mm-hmm. So in the past couple of weeks, it has actually just been the nerdy news. But because you're back and I'm super codependent and I want everybody to like me, I've now transitioned back into the nerdy nudes.
Good.
So
that's what the T-shirt says. We got to stick with the branding because that's what the T-shirt says.
If you're gone next week, I'll go right back to it because, again, super codependent. And I just want to make everybody happy. So here's what we want. Here's what we need to have. I want all of our listeners on Discord, or if you can, reach out to us on social media. What do you prefer? Would you rather it be the nerdy news or the nerdy nudes? You choose. I know it's a simple, small thing.
We'll do a poll on Instagram for sure.
Write the show. What's that?
We need to do a poll on Instagram and or Twitter.
Maybe we can even turn it into a giveaway.
There you go. Dude, I love it.
I don't know how that works, but okay.
We can give away some of our new shirts.
Our new shirts?
New shirts. Yeah, see, you're all perverted. So, like...
There are some nude color shirts. Some of them are just, tan, brown. Let's move on with this story, huh? This new Bioshock will seemingly be set in a new location. This is by Sheriff Saeed.
Oh, so Garrett's going to hate it.
Over at BG 24/7.
Yeah,
I won't even play it because it's not going to be connected to any of the other ones probably. The new Bioshock may not take us back to Rapture or Columbia. Cloud Chamber, the new team behind the next iteration of Bioshock, has updated its job openings page, revealing some tiny hints about the future of the series. As spotted by GameBite, Cloud Chamber is currently hiring for a number of positions. This listing for a leader environment modeler goes through the usual introductory stuff before it gets into the responsibilities of the role. We want you to set the example, leading efforts to help us breathe life into a new and fantastical world. It reads, suggesting that the setting for this Bioshock won't be something we've seen before. The original Bioshock and its sequel were set in underwater Rapture, whereas Bioshock Infinite explored another fictional locale, the flying city of Columbia. DLC for Columbia... Oh, well, that's kind of a spoiler. I'm not going to read that.
I wish you would have played Bioshock Infinite when you were supposed to.
It wouldn't be outlandish for the new Bioshock to have a completely new setting that also ties it into the larger metaverse somehow. It's also possible that the game may end up being a reboot, repurposing existing characters and stories, and reimagining their original settings. Interestingly, the same job description also touches a little bit on the art direction the candidate in question will help shape. And it just kind of goes on to talk and basically describe exactly what the art style of all of Bioshocks are. The best, brightest details, exaggerating those to a point of caricature. So this is not super out of left field, but it's also just kind of cool to hear something new about the new Bioshock. I don't know. Now with are you disappointed that they didn't go back to Columbia? Because I know Bioshock 1 and 2 were both Rapture. Bioshock Infinite was in Columbia.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
There are some movies and games and TV shows that should not have sequels. They just shouldn't. But because people want money, they turn them into sequels.
Mm-hmm.
What Ken Levine did with Bioshock 1 and Bioshock 3 was awesome.
Infinite, you mean?
Whatever. Is the third installment, Garrett? Is that how many that is there? Are there currently 3 Bioshocks?
There's 3 of them, but the way that's
Bioshock
titled,
3?
there's no way to know that they're connected at all.
You're an idiot. So the way it ends, which I wish you would have known, because you would have played it.
I just read it in the article, like, apparently, so
You still don't even know.
I still don't know.
You still don't even know.
Don't even know.
It should there shouldn't be a sequel to this game. It's clearly just a cash grab, which is fine.
Okay.
I get it. People got to make money. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a bad game, because it's probably gonna be great. Just like Last of Us Part 2 is great, from what I've been told. But like, I don't know. I mean, if they had to pick somewhere else, I mean, there's really. You can pick anywhere you want for that game. The point of Bioshock isn't the fact of where it is. It's about what it is. And it's about...
Yeah.
Each one is a theme on different like political structures. You have the first one that's basically about like straight hardcore capitalism or libertarianism. And the second one's about straight hardcore socialism. And the third one's about straight nationalism. And like you get to explore those themes and the cultures and what they kind of do through the lens of the game designers. I mean, for Bioshock 1, I don't really agree with everything Ken Levine's trying to say in that game. But I mean, I appreciate his ability to tell a tale and what that is. And that is what I loved about those games. For Cloud Chamber to come in with this, we'll see. Well, I mean, I'm not, as I said, I feel like it's going to take a lot for me to want to jump into this game. And I don't really care about the place. I just care about the what.
So do you think that means might lean more towards a reboot than, like what this article kind of suggests? Because, Ken Levine's not part of it.
Ken Levine wasn't part of the second one.
Right. But this is a completely different studio as well, Cloud Chamber, where before it was 2K Montreal. So it's like a new studio. Ken Levine's not part of it. Do you think this is like kind of turning over a new leaf? Like, okay, like here's our chance to kind of reboot it and not be part of that world? Or do you think that's
I don't know why you'd
ludicrous?
I'd say if they reboot it, I'll even be more upset and definitely not going to play it, because, as I said, you don't make sequels and don't mess with something that's already perfect. Like when they went back and made a sequel to Blade Runner, like they didn't reboot it, they added onto it. It's fine.
Right.
If you go back and try to reboot Bioshock, you know how many ticked off fans you're going to have? That game was already good. Don't mess with that. So, like, if there's anything that could be done, it's just drop in new characters, new world, new setting, and leave the first 3 alone.
So basically doing what I assumed Bioshock Infinite did, when in reality it didn't.
Yeah, JJ. Or Garrett. Yeah.
So I love the original Bioshock. I haven't played more than part 1. I played partway through 1. I actually just played it a few weeks ago. No, I'm new to the gaming stuff. I got it on PS Plus. The problem with me playing that game is it's pretty dang violent. I love the game, but it's really violent. And the kids were walking in on it a lot. And you're grabbing pipe wrenches and killing people. But I mean, it's a really great game. I'd like to continue playing it and get more into the story, because I really liked what I was getting. I was in rapture in the first game. In fact, when I first got the games, I tried to go for Infinite first, thinking, I'm going to go for the one that's got the best, most updated graphics.
I told him no. I was like, stop.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. You start at 1, and by the time you're done, you're like, what the heck? Like, the end of 1 is in my top 3 best endings to a game ever, hands down.
I've heard a lot of people say that the end to 1 is one of the greatest endings to a video game of all time. And I've heard it many times.
And pay attention to the themes in that game. Like, that game isn't just, a piece of video game like, oh yeah, no, it was a great game. There's so much more depth to it than just it just being a first person shooter. It's not like it's Doom where it's just like, hey, just run these levels and kill a bunch of demons. By the time there's just so much, and listen to every audio log you can find.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Every audio log that's the crux of the story in that game. The crux.
No, yeah, the audio logs is because there's not much other storytelling going on. There's very, very minimal storytelling going on otherwise. Like, you have to listen to audio logs, and it's insane. So good. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a little update on Bioshock 4, and still no obvious sort of timeline as when it might be coming out. But still, it's exciting that they're heading some direction. That's exciting. Even if Zetch isn't excited, I'm excited. We don't know where.
What it is? Maybe I think it is the older I've gotten in gaming, the more of an agnostic I've become.
You're just a crotchety old man.
Yeah, it's nothing surprises me anymore. You've done this already. You know what I mean? I feel kind of bad. Garrett's always excited about stuff. JJ's always excited about stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, bah, wah, wah.
Like the grizzled veteran in the corner is like,
I'm like the Grinch of
I'm
gaming.
sick of this crap. Smoking your cigar.
What a horrible way to live, Zetch. That's a horrible way to live, to just be unhappy and unsatisfied all the time, man. Like, how do you do that?
I play Ghost of Tsushima, and all is right.
Speaking of Ghost of Tsushima,
segue.
This is our next little news piece here. Ghost of Tsushima. This was just announced today, I believe.
Morning.
Yeah, this morning. Ghost of Tsushima Legends coming to PS4 fall 2020. Today, I'm very excited. This comes from Darren Bridges over at on PlayStation.blog. Today, I'm very excited to reveal Ghost of Tsushima Legends, a new online cooperative multiplayer mode that will come as a free download for Ghost of Tsushima owners on PS4 later this year. Legends is an entirely new experience. It's a separate mode that doesn't follow Jin or the companions from his journey, but instead focuses on 4 warriors who have been built up as legends and stories told by the people of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima's single-player campaign focuses on an open world and exploring the natural beauty of the island, but Legends is a haunting and fantastical, with locations and enemies inspired by Japanese folktales and mythology, and an emphasis on cooperative combat and action. We designed Legends to be an exclusively cooperative gameplay experience. You'll be able to partner up with friends or via online matchmaking in groups of 2 to 4 players. That's kind of cool. You're not stuck to one or the other. There's kind of that flexibility there. And each player can choose from one of 4 different character classes: Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, or Assassin. Each class has unique advantages and abilities that will reveal in the future. What were you going to say, Zetch?
I'm so stoked about this expansion. I was literally sitting there, eating my breakfast, scrolling through my tweets, because that's how I spend my mornings, and I was like, what? Oh, yeah. Because I know neither of you have played Ghost yet, but they have these, throughout the game, you find there's all these little side quests, like any other open world game. And they have these fictional people that you kind of find their armor. They have this, this armor's from Tadayori. He was a archer of legend. He's the best. He's saved all of Tsushima from, whatever, invaders or something. But you can find his armor. So it's I'm stoked about this because it's kind of the game already does a really good job of writing these legendary heroes.
You kind of know about, you've tangentially heard about them already.
Yeah, although I don't think any of the 4 that are in the game are those heroes that they're talking about in the main story. Okay. But nonetheless, knowing how well they can write the ones in the main story, I'm excited to see how they write the ones in this, and be able to play as them in the DLC, because it's all going to be its own self-contained stories.
Yeah, no. You're right. You mentioned that we haven't played it yet. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh man! I watched the trailer. I'm like, that looks really cool. The main story already looked really, really cool, beautiful, a lot of fun. And then I'm like, not necessarily the multiplayer mode of it, but just the aesthetic. It's a little darker, a little grittier, and more mythological, kind of the spiritual. It looks like a lot Ghost and. What did they say? What was the word that they use? Haunting and fantastical. I'm like, okay, I'm all about that. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So with 2 players in Ghost of Tsushima, oh, go ahead, JJ.
Oh, all I was going to say is I'd like to say that I never wanted to play that game until Zetch talked about it so passionately. He was the way that he spoke about it. Honestly, Zetch, the way that you spoke about the game, it intrigued me. It makes me want. I mean, you make it sound beautiful. I know it looks beautiful from some of the YouTube stuff, but you make the gameplay sound amazing. So you make it sound like it's worth the $60 to drop on the game.
Oh.
You know, I'm pretty tight when it comes to it, but I mean, the game is just beautiful, but you make it sound like it's more than just your average AAA game. So I'm excited to be able to play it. Now, this new stuff, the expansion, I think that'll be kind of neat to play multiplayer, but I'm excited about playing the campaign soon.
Oh man. Yeah, it's an exceptional game, and I can't wait to see how well they craft the multiplayer.
Yeah, and there's kind of different modes. So with 2 players, you'll be able to play a series of co-op story missions that escalate in difficulty, building on the foundation of combat from the single-player campaign, but with new magical twists that often require careful synchronization with your partner. Then with 4 players, you'll be able to take on wave-based survival missions, fighting groups of the toughest enemies Tsushima has to offer, including new Oni enemies with supernatural abilities. If you can best the story and survival missions, you may be confident enough to take on the 4-player raid that will arrive shortly after the launch of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, sending you and your partners to an entirely new realm to challenge a brutal, terrifying enemy. So that sounds awesome. Like, the fact that there's like more, like it says with 2 players, it's actual like a co-op story. So it's not just like, you know, with 4 players, it's just wave based, but it's like, oh no, they've actually invested in more story levels as long as you're playing co-op. I'm like, okay, I'm down. Like you and me, Zetch, go through some cool, like supernatural, you know, story.
Yeah, my cool. PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yeah, that's like all over this article in multiple points. Like there's a little asterisks. Active PS Plus membership required.
Yeah.
But
I let it die, and then I was like, why do I even have PS Plus? I don't play online with anybody. So I've been kind of going back through, and I'm probably just going to end up buying all like the main exclusives for the PlayStation. I want to get Until Dawn again. Anyway, it's another conversation.
I mainly keep PS Plus because it's like it's $60 a year, which is like the price of a game, and you get like 2 games a month, so you get like 24 games in a year. And
I'd rather own them. Because once my subscription dies, then I'm like, oh, well, I can't play any of these games anymore. Like, I have Bioshock Remastered on PlayStation, but it's from PS Plus.
Right.
So I already bought it for PC forever ago. And then it was on sale on it. I'm terrible. My wife, I don't know how she tolerates me. I'm the worst. But it was on sale for like it was on sale for $14 on Xbox. So I bought it on Xbox. Now I got 2 copies of it.
Ridiculous.
I have an addiction, guys. I need help.
Isn't that funny to hear Zetch say that? Because Garrett, didn't we have the same conversation like 2 months ago? How does Zetch's wife put up with him? Like, how does she do it? And we had the same conversation.
She's just an amazing woman.
I don't know what you're talking about, JJ. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No problem. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Garrett.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That definitely might push me to pick up Ghost sooner than later. I was already planning on getting it eventually, but now it's like, oh, I need to like get through the story. So then when that comes out, I could possibly start going through some of those co-op story missions with, you know, Zetch or whoever else wants to do it. So it'd be pretty cool.
That'd be fun.
I'm going to try not to be super offended that you immediately went into Zetch. You're like, hey, Zetch, you and me can play because we're like on the same level. No, I get that, and I understand that completely. But it's always like you act like I'm the slow younger brother that's like, we don't really want to let him in. Don't let him know what we're doing. He's like, treat him like a mushroom. Keep him in the dark. Feed him a little bit of crap every once in a while. I don't know. I'm trying not to be offended right now, Garrett. But you guys do this to me a lot, where it's like, yeah, we could totally play. And then, you know what, JD? I didn't think about pulling you into the stream. Or did you want to play? I want to play. We're friends, right?
Do you own Ghost of Tsushima?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, that answers that question. I'm sorry, JJ. I'm sorry. Maybe one day. One day you can.
It'll probably go on sale around the holidays. And it'll probably have like a PS5 upgrade attached to it, is what I'm going to bet. Like, I don't think they're just going to let that game just die. on PS4.
No, I mean, especially if they have plans to keep it alive, obviously. Like if they're doing multiplayer updates and like a raid, like it sounds like they're kind of that's kind of a cool like game development model. Like they launch it as just a single player open world can't like story game, like like any other Sony exclusive, and then like later on add, I guess it's probably a lot like Grand Theft Auto, like but do you think that's a possibility if they keep coming out with multiplayer DLC like that and basically turn into like a not an open world multiplayer type thing, but to have like more multiplayer stories, more raids, more stuff like that, almost Destiny-esque maybe?
I don't know, just because it doesn't feel like a very sustainable business model unless they're going to have microtransactions. You know what I mean? Like,
well, actually, I think that there was a really cool thing that Xbox just recently did where I think it was really smart of Xbox, where they were going to do the multiplayer thing for Halo Infinite, where it was going to be that the multiplayer aspect of it was free to everyone versus the campaign. I think that's a really brilliant thing. So when they start and they have oh, you know what? Never mind. They're not going to have Halo when they start out. I forgot about that. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they totally dropped the ball.
Xbox.
See, that was my little Xbox dig there, Zitch. That's what that was. I don't know if I broke the joke down.
That's fine.
So what I did was I stated the obvious, and then I spiked them with the.
It's fine. It's fine. Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X is launching with Game Pass. It's fine. It's fine. Something you can already play on Xbox One. It's going to be great.
I don't even care. I'm not even a console wars guy. So you guys keep making all the jabs. I really don't care.
All right. Oh, Garrett, I missed you.
Alrighty, this next news story comes from GameSpot. Alessandro Barbosa writes, Control's new Ultimate Edition is the only way to get a PS5 Xbox Series X upgrade. So this is a story we have heard before. Not this game specifically, but we've talked about this with the NBA 2K stuff. I feel like there's one other game we talked about. But it was one of those things where earlier on, when we were so much younger, so much more naive, just like 2-3 months ago before COVID, we all were like, oh, cool. We're going to like get free upgrades, at least for the Series X stuff, maybe even for PS5. Who knows? We don't like, we just didn't know. And we were all super hopeful and excited. But now, like, yeah, news has been slowly coming out for certain games where, that's not going to be the case. And so Control has come out ahead of its first showing of its next expansion for Control. Remedy Entertainment has announced new all-inclusive edition of the game that will launch on August 27th on Steam for $40. Launching later on PS4 and Xbox One, Control Ultimate Edition will also be the only way to get a free next-gen console upgrade for the game. It is important to note that the only way to get a free upgrade to next-gen versions of Control is by... Okay, that was weird. I said the same thing twice. It really threw me off. But yeah, so really basically, important. I mean, yeah, only owners of this new version on Xbox One and PS4 will have their game updated for free to the PS5, or Xbox Series X and PS5 version respectively. So even if you own Control from before, like that doesn't get you the upgrade. It's only with this Ultimate Edition that comes with all the DLC and then this free upgrade. That just seems, the article kind of goes on talking about more about the expansions and the the DLC and stuff like that. But I want to talk more about this upgrade fiasco again. Kind of like I haven't seen too many people as up in arms about this as they were about those other games like 2K, NBA 2K, and some. I can't remember what that second one was.
Nobody wants to play Control again.
But exactly. So it just seems so crazy that, like, okay, then why charge for the upgrade? Like, people have already played it, and by the time the new consoles come out, all the DLC will be out. I don't know. It just seems so like tone deaf on the developer's part to be like, we're going to charge for the upgrade. Like, they know they're not going to sell any. Like, I can't imagine anyone buying this Ultimate Edition, except for maybe people like me who haven't played it. Although I've started it. It's on PlayStation Now, so I don't even need to like buy it. I'll just play it on PlayStation Now because it's already there. But I don't know. It just seems like so crazy, like, to come out with an Ultimate Edition this late in the game and then lock that upgrade behind that paywall essentially.
Well, pretty much what it is, in my opinion. So I could totally, it's just me spitballing. But I mean, I don't think the target audience is for people that have already played Control. The target is for those people that haven't played Control. And Xbox, new console generation, that's usually a time for people that are like, oh, you know, I missed the last generation. Maybe I should get one now and just jump into it. So, like, this will be another game that they probably would have heard a lot of news about, and it's a game of the year. From last year, 2019 game of the year. And, like, this will be a great chance for them to jump into that. So maybe it's probably even those people that maybe even have played on the early, like, Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 era, but didn't get a chance to jump into Control at that moment. Now they got a new console with no games. Like, oh, $40? Okay, I'll get it all. Boom. And $40 isn't really that much for the game and all the DLC.
It'll be $40 on Steam. You think it'll be that much on consoles as well?
It has to be.
Does it?
Brand new, yeah. Because whatever the box price is, that's what the box price is. That's why a game on Steam is $60. That's why a game on PSN is $60. That's why a game on the shelf is $60.
Because it just seems weird to me. Oh no, I guess later on in the article they clarify. In the first paragraph, they call the Steam one the all-inclusive edition, and then they call the console one the Ultimate Edition. But then later on, they do clarify that they're both the Ultimate Edition. So that's why I was like, well, technically they're different editions, but they do clarify later on in the article here. So never mind, I take that back.
Yeah, I read the article.
I mean, yeah, for $40, like, okay, like at least it's not a $60 or $100. I guess with NBA 2K, it was $100. Right. Hey, pay $100 if you want the upgrade. That makes a little more sense. I guess when I first read this, I thought on Steam it'd be 40, and then console would be like maybe the full 60. Especially, I mean, it's the game and 2 expansions and possibly, and then an upgrade if you're looking for it. There's a lot of value there, so I assumed it would be 60, but you clarified that for me. So what?
Is JJ frozen on your screen?
Yeah, it looks like he's sticking his finger up his nose and yawning.
A screenshot of this.
Oh, he's gone.
Lost it.
Dang it.
That would have been a great thumbnail.
Was I frozen or something?
You were frozen.
Like
your
this.
mouth was wide open, and your finger was like looking like you were getting ready to shove it up your nose.
Because that's exactly what I just did. I thought you guys couldn't see that, so now I feel bad.
Don't. It's okay. It's perfectly natural. It's perfectly natural. Everybody does it.
But what I pulled out was not. It looked like a crayon. So, but carry on.
Interesting. Okay.
For a dad.
One time,
fun dad story.
Yes.
My son stuck a pea, like a tiny little green pea, up my daughter's nose one time. I got it stuck. So you know how I got it out? You guys guess? The only
Tweezers?
way. No.
Vacuum?
Nope.
Vacuum. That sounds like a bad idea.
I had to plug one of the empty nostril, and then had her open her mouth, and I blew inside her mouth, and the pee came out.
Oh, wow.
What?
Hey, that works.
I'm not even kidding. It worked instantly. No issues, no crying, no tears.
Crazy.
Done in a second. So for all those dads out there, that's a pro dad tip. Plug a nostril, blow in the mouth. Boom.
When I was in second grade, I put a bean up my nose trying to play hide and seek with a bean and some other kids. And I put it in my nose and I snorted, and the bean went back into my nasal cavity. And I ran to the hospital because I freaked out.
That hurts my sinuses just thinking about it.
Yeah, and never got it out. So I have no idea what ended up happening. I don't know if it's actually back there growing into a tree. I have no idea. But I've had allergies my entire life.
Man, that's a dark story.
It's probably just all moldy and gross in there.
It could be totally moldy and it could be growing in there like crazy, or it might have went back in the back of my throat. You
are like case like the what is it like patient zero for like The Last of Us, the spores. You're it.
Okay. Yeah, you could totally be accurate.
You're the start of the fungal infection.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool. Anyway,
Cool. Anyways,
you can't really go anywhere else from there. It's like that's the show, folks. Thank you guys so much for.
JJ has a bean growing in his sinuses, and there's the next news story comes from The Verge. Speaking of beans, Apple stumbled into a war with the gaming industry, and the future of iOS is at stake. It's a very ominous title.
I don't think it stumbled in.
Oh no!
They clearly planted the flag, and they were like, "Bring it on!" And so now the gaming world's like, "We're coming at you, Apple."
Yeah. There wasn't any sort of like, "Oops, didn't mean to do that."
Oh, I didn't take 30% of your money.
Yeah. So we're just going to read a little bit of this, some excerpts, and if there's any information, JJ or Zetch, that maybe I forget or leave out or don't read, you guys like. Feel free to pipe up, because this was I just searched for I knew that this was news, and so I searched for the first article and put in the show notes, and then like this morning I actually read through the article. I'm like, oh man, it's a huge like editorial piece, like pages and pages and pages long. So we're not.
I can touch on the highlights if you want.
If you have them, go ahead. Actually.
So basically, here's what went down. For the longest time. So I don't know if you guys know this, but anytime you guys make a purchase. In like an in-game app or an in-game purchase in an app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apple charges 30%, takes 30% of that purchase.
Right.
So that means as a developer, I have to pay 30% of whatever that transaction was, on top of taxes, on top of paying my employees, on top of all that stuff. So pretty much as a developer, you don't make a whole lot of money, right? So along comes a company called Epic. Okay, and Epic makes a game called Fortnite. And as you guys both know, lots of people like to play Fortnite, and Fortnite has microtransactions within the game. Well, Epic got sick. JJ would be most familiar with these purchases.
Trust
He's got kids that play it. So Epic was basically like, you know what, this isn't right. They're really putting screws to us. It's basically it violates antitrust law, and we're gonna find a way to kind of back Apple into a corner. So basically what they did was they created a way in the game that kind of circumvents the Apple purchase. So basically you can buy an item
directly through Epic, and you wouldn't have to go through the App Store.
Correct. Correct. So like, and they lower the price of it too. So whatever that item was is now, 20% cheaper. So Epic not only lowers the price, but they're saving 10% total. See what I mean? So Apple obviously blocks them because it violates their laws.
Yeah, they completely took the app off the App Store. Like you can't even play it on iPhone anymore. Like you can't play it, you can't download it.
Or iPad. Yeah, gone. So then Epic was already ready for this. They knew what Apple was going to do. The next day they drop a 100%. They drop a 62-page legal lawsuit against Apple. And they file a counter. They basically countersue them for violating antitrust laws. So that's where we're at today. That's the battle. Is basically Epic is tired of.
Yeah, and Epic put out this like video that's basically an exact replica of an old Apple commercial based off like the 1984. 84.
Well, 1984 was the book.
The book, but like just like that Orwellian kind of like dystopian kind of like, oh man, so crazy.
That's exactly what they did. And so if you're playing the game, you'll see a commercial for it, and so #free Fortnite, and they just called Apple out straight out that they've removed Fortnite from I don't know what 104 billion. Or something like that. It was something insane like that was removed. So I mean, they just call them out, and they're
every Apple device that was playing it, which I'm sure was a lot.
Yeah, anybody that has kids playing Fortnite, basically.
And you have to imagine that's really affecting Epic's bottom line right now, because I mean that's how they're making money, is all of those microtransactions.
Not from Apple. I guarantee you, the player base on PC is way higher than the player base on mobile. Way higher.
It's still got to count for something. I mean, their only reason they're going to try to take them to court is because it is affecting their bottom line. It's not the majority of their money, but I'm sure that there are dollars and cents that are being affected by not being able to be on that many accounts. I mean, even if it's, $1 a month from every one of those things is $104 billion a month. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That you could potentially be losing.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Remember that. Remember that in the future. Remember that, because a lot of times you guys always say, JD, you're wrong. JD, you've never been right. JD, you're wrong. So remember that.
We didn't say you're right. We just said you're not wrong.
That's true. Dang it.
It's true. So yeah, so I don't play Fortnite. So I knew that this video was circulating.
You don't play anything, apparently.
No, and you never.
Not since having a second kid. I haven't played hardly any games since having this new kid. So I'm sorry.
What was your excuse when you had Bioshock Infinite? I'm gonna have a kid, so I can't play this right now.
I'm gonna have a kid in like 5 years. I can't play it right now.
Quick! What's his name again? What's the new kid's name? Because earlier I asked you, and you had to struggle for it. You're like,
Booker DeWitt.
Baby 2. I don't know. Diaper. Another mouth to feed. I don't know. What do we call? I don't know. I don't have any clue. You seem a little bitter, man.
Are you just making fun of me? You really want to know, or are you just making fun of me?
No, I really want to know. I don't think you've even said on the show. You're like, the baby. We had a baby. It came out of my wife's stomach.
Little baby boy, Griffin.
Gryffindor.
That's exactly, because he's a huge Harry Potter fan who's never seen the Harry Potter movies, other than
the biggest Harry Potter fan.
Gryffindor.
It's sad because I was willing to come and help you, Garrett, and you guys spent all that stupid money going to the stupid doctor, having a stupid cesarean. I could have done it in the garage, literally $2,500, and you would have in and out, and you wouldn't have had to waste all that time. And the wife has a Polaroid. I mean, we could have taken photos. Come on, dude, you could have saved so much money.
I have pretty okay insurance. I think I'm happy with what we did.
Well, if you have a third kid, I want you to think through saving money here, because I think you wanted to be able to get a PlayStation 5. You're not going to be able to do that when you go around having babies in the hospital. You know what I mean?
Anyways, back to the point I was starting to make there with Fortnite and the video playing in the game. This only just hit me now, so I'm still trying to kind of process through this in my head, so maybe this won't even make sense, but that just seems really this isn't the right word, not off base, but their biggest audience, Fortnite, is a lot of kids. Doesn't it seem really weird to kind of organize this army of kids to brainwash? It feels like brainwashing these kids into hey, Apple sucks, and I don't know. It seems just a little weird. It's not like it's a bunch of intellectual cool. 20s and 30s and 40-year-old older adult males. It's a bunch of kids for the most part. It seems weird to have this huge I don't know, feud and bring all these kids into it and be like, hey, this company sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels a little weird.
It's also very telling of the year we live in. Have you met our president? All he does is make fun of people that are the opposite to him. He's a troll. Anyway, that's another discussion. But this is a very troll move on Fortnite's part. I mean, they're kind of trying to paint Apple as being a bully, but to be honest, 30% is terrible, but you opted to pay that.
It's Apple, I'm sure it's in the terms and the agreement that the contract they signed to even get their app on the thing in the first place. So you agreed to it. You agreed to it. It's not like they surprised you with it.
So this is a corporate move to another. It's literally all it is two corporations going head to head right now. That's all it really is. Yeah. Which is fine.
I don't feel like either of you guys have said this, but I want just process through this. Do either of you guys blame Apple for taking them off? Because I definitely don't.
No.
I mean,
they broke the agreement. They broke the agreement.
That's my point. They made a strategic move based on the fact that you went to go circumnavigate our agreement of the 30%. I mean, there could have been a dialogue hey, we don't agree with the 30%. What can we work out? So Fortnite goes around the back door.
I'm sure those conversations happened. Those conversations totally 100% happened. Like,
right.
We're that
so
big.
You can see.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Fortnite has a case here. They took them off for. I mean,
what they're suing them for is basically being
you're gonna say suing them for being a bully or for being unfair. Life isn't fair, Zech. Life isn't fair.
I get that. And look, I'm a huge proponent of that.
And look, I don't care about Fortnite one way or the other. My son loves it. My wallet does not love it. But all I'm saying is I can see Apple's position. Is 30% a lot? Absolutely. On an app like Epic's Fortnite, could they work with them to maybe lower that percentage because of how much volume of business Fortnite does or Epic does? Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I'm not a businessman. I don't know. Right. I'm not in their shoes.
In the current context too, the article also mentioned the cloud streaming service shutdowns.
Yes.
For xCloud and Stadia. Yeah. And so basically I believe what's part of that, I mean, maybe I need to fact check myself on this. I'd be interested to see if a part of that lawsuit is also how tight or the inconsistency in Apple's review processes. Because basically they're saying that, yeah, these 100 games or 40 games or whatever you have on your streaming platform aren't allowed because we can't review them all. But yet they'll let Netflix and Spotify.
Yeah, and that's what blows my mind.
Spotify's direct competition to Apple Music.
Yeah, that's the thing that blows my mind with that. Yeah, that news that came out, what was that, last week, about xCloud probably not, being able to come to iPhone at least anytime soon was, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Amazon Prime, there's all these music apps, there's Spotify, there's a few other ones that, aren't as big as Spotify though. Like that's the key one. That's perfect example you gave there. It's like they don't go through and review every one of those songs or every one of those TV shows or every one of those movies. Why is that any different with games? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just, yeah. Apple is kind of just being a bully lately a little bit, but yeah. I don't know.
One could make the case that they do review those movies and TV shows because they offer them on their own first-party apps like Apple TV or
but not like Netflix originals. Think about it, like Hulu originals, Netflix originals, that type of stuff wouldn't be on Apple.
In the Apple TV app, don't they have like a recommended list? Like, hey, here's what's popular on streaming right now, like HBO and Stars and stuff.
I think it's only if you're logged into those apps on your phone.
Oh.
Like when you're, yeah. So like only if you already have those services, like it actually pulls from those services when you go to the Apple TV app on your phone.
Got it.
Because I noticed that after I added services or like if we cancel a subscription, suggestions will show up or disappear depending on what's going on. So I think it actually pulls from whatever accounts you have linked there. So I don't know. It's so crazy. And it's a bummer. Like, yeah, so this is old news now, but like with the xCloud stuff and even Stadia, like those are like huge selling points for those things. Is like that's the biggest thing Xbox has been talking about, is that you can play at home and then get on the train and go to work, and while you're on the train, like pick up right where you left off. It's like, okay, that'll be the case now for Android phones, but iPhone users, well, sorry.
Well, even Google Play didn't they have? No, Epic ended up going head to head with Google Play too, I believe.
They did. There was a time when Google Play, I don't know if it's on there now, but there was a time when Google Play, it's still not.
I think I read somewhere that it's not either still.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This whole thing's a mess. It's crazy. Hopefully something works out soon. I mean, I don't care for Fortnite, but for like the streaming services, like I would love to be able to use xCloud. I'm like, we have JJ and I share share Game Pass Ultimate, and when that news came out that September you're gonna get xCloud, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm gonna be able to play on the phone. And then like that news last week came out, I'm like, oh well, no, I guess I'll just do xCloud on my computer. I mean, it's better than nothing. I'll still have an Xbox in my house technically, but it's still a bummer.
Is it still going to work on the Android or the xCloud?
Yeah, no, xCloud and Stadia and yeah, all like those streaming apps all work great on Android. Like Android has been playing nice with them. It's just iPhone. It's not friendly.
Yeah, and honestly, the only reason they're not friendly with it, if you really boil it down, isn't because they can't review them. It's because they can't charge that 30% fee off those inside games that they're streaming.
Right.
They want to control and dominate the mobile game space, and honestly, they need to let it go because they suck at it anyway.
Like, their Apple Arcade is like only mediocre. Like I tried it for a couple months. I'm like, there's a couple good games, but
there's no games on there. As like a true gamer, I'm not like itching to play Grindstone. No. Oh gosh, I gotta play
that's a good game.
Oceanhorn.
Grindstone's a really good game, but you're right. Yeah, it's not like I'm like itching to like Ghost of Tsushima level kind of. I gotta get my Grindstone.
Like, oh man, I'm really happy to pay $5 a month so I can play Grindstone for 5 minutes.
So Garrett, I know that you played the Apple Arcade for a while, and I kind of was under the impression that for what it was that you liked it, but that it was essentially mobile games. Yeah. I thought the intention of Apple Arcade was at some point to have some specific AAA titles that were meant to be on Apple.
That is the way they talked it up, and technically they have had like exclusive, not first party because they don't have any of their own developers, but like exclusive, AA games. I would say I don't even know if you can classify them as AAA. Like there are some like
single A.
Yeah, just like they're not bad games, but they're like slightly better than normal mobile games. But again, like I guess I was excited initially because there's some fun stuff on here, and I see where it could like they could iterate and get better, from there. Because I played it like the first couple months. I think I just had it for 2 months, and I was like, I got it for free for a month, and then paid for a second month. I'm like, this is cool. This is fun. Oceanhorn was cool. It was cool to be able to. It was right when that update came out first, so you could sync your PS4 controller to your phone. So I was playing games on my controller. I'm like, this is sweet. And then since then, like I randomly will check in. I'm like, they just haven't added anything like they talked it up it would be. They made it seem like it was going to be like almost like a competition to Game Pass, and it's like, oh no, it's just like an amped up app store. Like they're better games than what you're going to get in the app store, but still not like,
even then they're not even that
for the
better.
for the diehard gamer. It's like, or even just like middle of the road gamer, it's not going to keep you satisfied that long. They're still phone games. They're still mobile games. They're meant to like check in for like a minute or two while you're taking a crap, and then move on with your day.
I mean, honestly, the best mobile game you can probably find on there is Hearthstone, in my opinion.
And that's free. You don't need Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Cool.
Microtransactions.
What's that?
It's because it has microtransactions. You can buy packs of cards.
Right. Yeah. It's a deck building game. Like it's 100%. Blizzard knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's it. Anyone else has any other thoughts on the Fortnite streaming, all that iOS stuff?
No, I think we kind of said it.
Nope.
Cool. Well, I think it is now time to talk about our Patreon. Alrighty, guys. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, we have some awesome supporters, producers, and sponsors that we shout out every show. And if you want a shout out on the show, or at the very least to get some cool perks, you can go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Just $1 a month, you get our episodes early and ad-free. We usually try to get them out, tonight after. JJ, what are you doing? Why are you doing?
I didn't interrupt your ad.
It's terrifying.
I was
tonight after the recording, I usually try to get those uploaded, or at the very least in the morning there. So you get them a day early and without this little section here. So if you're sick of hearing me talk about our Patreon, go over there and support us. It's $1 a month. You can shut me up. $5, you get your name in the show notes, and you get your name in the show description, and you get a copy of the show notes. That way you can see what we'll be talking about on the next week's recording before the recording happens. You can even leave your own comments and thoughts if you want to be part of the show. $10 a month, that gives you the sponsor level where you get a shout out just like our sponsors, Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Dustin Long, Brent Fox, and Daniel James. So put your shirt down. Put your shirt down. You audio listeners are missing out right now. So see, we don't do an ad-free version on YouTube. So if you want to really badly see what the shenanigans going on, go over to YouTube or supergamerboys.com/YouTube. And our big bad producer level, $15 a month. You can be just like Adrian Holmes. And you get all those perks that I've mentioned already, as well as having direct access to us, the host, us three. You can let us know cool articles, cool topics, cool segments of the show. You will do whatever you want. Anything. JJ has done crazy things.
Yeah, I've done a lot of crazy stuff for our Patreon producers. Sometimes in back of alleys, behind gas stations. But no, okay. I really appreciate all your support on Patreon. And don't forget, because of the brilliant hashtag Garrett's third nipple, you had that nipple removed recently. And it's all because of Patreon. And I understand that the adhesive did have a little bit of a reaction. And did that clear up, Garrett, or are you still?
It's a little tender.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, what more can you want? Please support us on Patreon.
Alrighty, and now let's get back to the show. Alrighty, guys, let's get into some new releases here. We have just a few here that kind of looked interesting. Deliver Us to the Moon came out on Switch August 14th. EA Sports UFC 4, PlayStation 4, Xbox One on August 14th. This one, actually, I'm more excited than I should be about because, I don't know. I don't have any, like, the cool gear equipment. My brother does. He has a full, like, steering yoke and the pedals and levers and everything. But Microsoft Flight Simulator, all I've been seeing is these beautiful screenshots from the game and, like, amazing reviews for it, and it's coming to Game Pass for free, so I'm like really stoked. It comes out tomorrow as a recording. I have it pre-installed on my computer, and I'm really excited to fly a plane somewhere because I don't know, it always interested me. And like I said, my brother was super into it. He has all the equipment, so like when you would walk in his bedroom, it looked like a cockpit in front of his computer. Super cool. I was super jealous of him. And now it just sits in storage in New York because he's, in the army and stationed somewhere else. So I serving our country. Yeah, like a real man. So
we have to do a Super Gamer Boys road trip to go pick that flight simulator stuff.
I know that's what I was just gonna say. I was like, I kind of want to ship that stuff out because that would be super awesome to play the new flight sim with all the legit equipment. So maybe I need to.
But I swear,
get a hold of my brother.
Play that before Bioshock Infinite.
I love it.
I mean, I still have to install Bioshock Infinite, and Flight Simulator is already pre-installed on my computer.
Don't test me.
Tonight at midnight, I could play Flight Simulator. The last game coming out, Rogue Legacy 2 on PC. That comes out August 18th. Now, it is time for you guys to tell me what you've been playing. JJ, you go first.
Okay, so as always, there was so much. I didn't play anything. It's been 110 degrees. I'm living on the face of the sun the last several days. I've been sleeping in the living room. We're sleeping like hippies. Everybody's laying out all over the place. It's just been miserable. And what I mean by that is nobody's bathing. It smells like armpits and farts. So honestly, there's been no gameplay. I've watched people at my house play video games, but I have had no time. Over the weekend, I didn't even do anything. Saturday and Sunday, I laid around all day long, about a foot away from the AC, letting it blow over me. I didn't have much clothes on, just a pair of shorts. It wasn't a pretty sight, man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a beached whale laying on the beach.
In Death Stranding one time.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much looked like that. Like I'm just laying there with my tongue lolling out of my mouth. I just didn't have any energy to play video games. I did, however, watch a lot of Indian matchmaking. I completely finished Indian matchmaking on Netflix, and I gotta tell you, I binged this show this week,
awesome.
and it was amazing. So if you guys have had an opportunity, check out Indian matchmaking on Netflix. It's an 8-episode show. It's super bingeable. You can't turn away. It's like a car accident that you stumble across, and you just got to keep your eyes on it. Really, really entertaining. And of course, there's one lady who is the bad guy. Who you're like, oh man, she's such a witch. Like nobody's gonna want to marry her. And you get to see a progression through her life as she realizes like you're a little too witchy, and nobody's gonna want to ever marry you. So it's really great. It's a cool show, and I had a lot of fun watching it.
Nice. Have you guys seen Umbrella Academy season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's so good.
So
finished
good.
It. Holy Moses.
We finished it in like 2 days because we had nothing else to do. And holy crap, it's so stinking good.
It's better than the first season.
Oh, 100%. Like I thought like the first season's amazing, and I watched this, I'm like, oh no. Like this is so much better. So much better. I don't know how they did it, but it's so much better. And the ending, oh man, I'm so stoked.
See, if you like that, you're gonna like. Maybe you won't like, but The Boys on Amazon Prime.
I see they're coming out with season 2 soon, right? I keep seeing ads for that.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes of season 2 drop September 2nd. First week of September.
Okay.
And then they're released episodically after that until August something. I think first week of August. Not August. First week of October. And as of today, it got renewed for season 3. So,
nice, dude.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
Dude.
I need to check that out. Yeah, me and my wife though, we love Umbrella Academy. It's
rated
good.
M. Your wife might not like it based on things that I've heard. It's very
the
R.
The boys.
Yeah, it's very R.
Okay. Yeah.
You will if she's squeamish. The first 15, you'll know if she likes it within the first 15 minutes of that show.
Okay.
Maybe in the first 5.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, and I'll just like that'll be the tester, like a litmus test. Just like, okay, let's put on this. Oh no, it's going bad. It's going bad.
Yeah, and it only gets worse from there. So. Oh
jeez. Cool. Anything else, JJ? You've been watching or playing, or?
I haven't been watching or playing anything else, but I did. I tried a new podcast this week. It was a limited podcast that I wanted to share. That was
Super
really
Best
great.
Friends video game sleepover that I was on.
I have not listened to that episode yet, Garrett. I'm such a busy man. You understand. But I did listen to It Was
Your
Simple.
best friend in the whole world was on another podcast.
Zach, you were on the podcast? Zach, what? Zach was. Garrett,
I was
you
talking
mean
about
you.
me. I'm your best friend in the whole world. Remember? I know it's been a while since we've seen each other, but
yeah, but Zach and I got really close over the last couple of weeks, man. And
okay, yeah, I see how.
I'm not trying to get rid of you per se.
No,
but
of course not.
He did finish Infinite. He finished Bioshock Infinite, and
we all know that that's the standard for who your best friend is. It's always who.
Bioshock it's always been.
It's always been that. Who's a quitter and who isn't.
Right?
That's the standard.
So this past week, I listened to a great podcast, a limited podcast called It Was Simple. It's put out by Wondery, and it's a true crime podcast on the Betty Broderick murders. Betty Broderick was a woman who killed her husband or ex-husband and his new wife back in 1989. They had 4 kids together. And it's just a really incredible true crime podcast. I had a lot of fun with it this week. And I got to finish that up earlier today, actually, and that was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Nice, cool. Zech, what have you been playing?
Pretty much more of the usual from last week. I picked up playing Bioshock Remastered again.
Okay,
and
nice.
So hence my fervor for why I'm so impassioned that you finished that game. It is, man, I tell you what, like the remastered version is the perfect version to go through and play that game. Like I really enjoyed the first time I played it was on 360. The first one was exclusive to 360.
Yeah, exactly.
And I played through it on there, and it was an absolute amazing experience. And going back through and playing it, the remastered version, you pick up a lot more details. There's so much more intricate things you'll find in the graphics, like just like the detail of like the characters, like the way the splicers are designed, or like just like the way the world is put together, and like the water and like the effects and things like that have been up-resed. Acting and everything in that game holds up so well to today. Like it doesn't skip a beat at all. Like that's some of the most amazingly perfect voice acting in the game I think I've ever played. Like it's in a league of its own.
Dude, that's awesome.
The audio logs in that game are literally where the story's at. Like you can't have Bioshock. If you went through Bioshock and played it without listening to any of the audio logs, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. That game,
totally,
because like you don't understand the context of any of the environments. All the audio logs you find are so contextualized within the area you're in and the area you're playing through that it explains more of who this guy is, who Andrew Ryan is, how different people fit into this big narrative, why things are the way they are, why Rapture is the way that it is. It's like it's so integral to the story of that game. Like that's what makes that game so good. I know lots of people used audio logs in games before and after.
Yeah, no, Bioshock's at a different level though. Bioshock's at a different level with their audio logs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's outstanding. So I've been going through and enjoying that, and then I'm still obviously playing Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario. But Ghost of Tsushima, I'm going for the platinum in it, guys. I'm gonna go for the platinum.
Nice.
I haven't platinumed a single PlayStation game before. This will be my first platinum, and I was looking at the trophy list, and I'm like, I can do this. It'll take me some time, but I can do this. And so I got awesome. I just liberated all of Izuhara, first area of the game. So now I got 2 more areas to go. I'm like on Act 2. And I got that second part of that island, and it's just opened up like a bunch of other missions that I found. So
nice.
The nice thing about that game is that like you'll go through, like if you go straight through like story to story, you'll miss like a lot of the side missions that'll unlock or areas to explore and stuff like that. Only unlock if you liberate the first area. So in order to get some of these extra missions, you gotta play through all of the first area beyond just the main storyline. So you'll, do your thing, and then
So they kind of like push you to explore and do some of that stuff. Like you don't have to, but it's like, you get a lot more out of it if you do.
Yeah, exactly.
In those other areas. So okay, that's interesting. That's cool. So yeah, I'm super interested in that game. Like it just what I've been seeing the last few weeks since it came out on Twitter. I'm like, holy cow, like, what am I doing in my life? I just got to bite the bullet and get this game.
It's so good. And it's such a nice break from, like, a lot of people I've been listening to. Like, I've been listening to Game Scoop on IGN. That's one of my favorite podcasts. So if any of our listeners don't like ours, you should go check out theirs. It's good. It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Don't tell them that. We want them to stay here, even if they don't like us.
I'm just saying. But you got to be honest. I'm a person of the people. And but they were talking about they've been contrasting how dark Last of Us Part 2 is with how vibrant and joyous Ghost of Tsushima is. And they're like, it's a nice transition.
The yin and yang there.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Another Japanese term. Way to be topical, Garrett. Way to go. You know your Japanese culture.
I know,
but so it's I'm really enjoying it. And then Paper Mario, obviously, it's ironic because I'm actually going after the blue streamer in that one, and you get to a spot that's like a Shogun style like theme park, and so I'm in that area going from Ghost of Tsushima where you're in feudal Japan to this Japanese theme park in Paper Mario. It's like
that's awesome.
Fun little wing. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. It's been fun.
Cool. That's awesome. I have, to be completely honest, not played very much. I've been a little busy with a baby and basically chasing my almost 3-year-old around, so I don't really have much time to play games. But I slipped away for a little bit to play some Fall Guys because it came out for free on PlayStation Plus, and all I saw was everyone raving about it online. So much fun, so great, it's amazing. Go check it out. And I've played for a couple hours now, and I see the appeal. Like I understand like why people love it so much, and I think I could love it, but I think I need to play it with friends, because when I play alone, I get frustrated like no other. Because basically what happens is, well, in the individual challenges, I'm fantastic. I can run through there. I'm like in top 10. Like I can always win an individual challenge. I'm amazing at Fall Guys. I don't know if you guys have tried it or played it yet. Like I'm really good. Like I can just
not to
I
get
can.
it. I decided not to. Okay. It looked silly to me.
Yeah, it didn't
So
get me.
yeah, so I mean, it's basically, I think the premise of it is, do you know like the old TV show Wipeout, where they do like the stupid obstacle course? It's basically Wipeout, but in a video game. Like it's hilarious. Like it is hilarious. Like some of like you fall over and you knock 6 other people over and you get smashed by a hammer, and then you're trying to run up this stupid hill and you trip over, someone else falls, you trip over them. You know, you're all like just bumbling idiots, like running all over. It's like, it's really cute and just like stupid. But then you get to the team challenges. They throw in these team challenges, and oh man, there was one. It's basically, it looks like a Rocket League type soccer field, but you know, instead of cars, you're these little like whatever the Fall Guy characters are, the weird
little Fall Guys,
like the little like fat like chubby like little like a sock'em bock'em, it's the rock'em sock'em, not robots. What are the big bean bags or the airbags that you wear on your fist? Like that's what it reminds me of. It's like, let's say sock'em boppers and like the big boppers. So that's like what you run around like a little marshmallow dude, and like these giant soccer balls like 6 times your size or bigger, and it's so easy. It's so easy to keep it out. If you paid an ounce of attention, you could keep it out of the net, or you get the ball in the other people's net. But then I get stuck on the team where there's like people just griefing, where they're just like letting it in or pushing it in our own net and scoring. I finished one round. I'm like, I'm going to stop playing this game because I'm about ready to choke someone out. Like I am furious because they're just like straight up just like, and it happened like 3 times. Like every time I got to that soccer challenge, I kept getting on a team where it's just like a bunch of people like just trolling. I'm like, no, why? Work with me, please. Like the rest of the game is fantastic. It's fun. It's hilarious. But so that's where I think, okay, if I could play with like 3 or 4 other friends, and because I mean, even at that point, the team was like, it's like teams of 6. So, okay, if 4 out of the 6 of us are on the same page, that would help a lot. And it'd be a lot more fun because we'd be laughing and making fun of each other. Like, oh, I can't believe you trip. Oh, it's so stupid. Whatever. But when you're just playing alone and you get those trolls on the team, you're like, oh man, like this is so infuriating. There's one challenge. There's one challenge where there's all these eggs. You're all dressed up like chickens, and there's these eggs in the middle. It's really, the whole game is like one of those like Japanese like game shows that you see on TV where it's just like bizarre, crazy obstacle courses they make them do. So it's like, yeah, you're all dressed up like chickens, and there's all these eggs in the middle of this arena, and then you have like these baskets in your corner. There's 3 teams. You have to run in there, and whoever has the most eggs at the end, the 2 teams with the 2 highest amount of eggs gets to move on. And so you run up there, you're grabbing an egg, but you know the controls are purposely kind of janky, so like you're throwing eggs and slipping and dropping them and juggling them, and then you run back to your nest, and people from your own team are like taking them out and throwing them out. You're like, no, why? Stop! Like we were winning, we had like 20 points, and then like someone on our team is like chucking them back out, and like so we're losing. I'm like, no, why, please?
Is it just me, or does the thought of actually playing that game for real with chicken suits on sound like a lot more fun than the actual game?
Oh, it sounds like a blast.
I would totally play a Japanese game show like that.
Yeah. So Fall Guys is one of those things where like I see the appeal, and I think I would like it more if I could play with friends, but at this point, I don't know. I can't play it on my own because I just get too mad when they do the team challenges. And there's always at least like 1 or 2 team challenges when you do, go through the rounds.
Yeah.
Playing some more Paper Mario. I'm on the second ribbon, which I think is a blue ribbon.
Yep. That's where I'm at.
So
You past the lake?
I'm inside the water.
That thing.
Elemental,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm doing those puzzles right now. I'm bad at slider
It was a
puzzles.
tough boss.
There's a slider puzzle in there. Like I did the first slider puzzle, no problem, because it's only like 4 tiles, and then it bumps up to like 6 or 8 tiles, and I'm like, nope. I worked on it for like 15 minutes, and I can't figure out the stupid slider puzzle because I suck at slider puzzles. So, because I'm an idiot, I'm sorry.
It's
like,
tough.
You already know it.
That one was a tough one. Like it took me a few tries to figure that one out. I think I had to step away from it, and then it came.
Yeah.
So maybe it did take me longer than 15 minutes.
But I mean, I'm loving the game. I am sick of the combat already, though.
I'm not.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where I actually started avoiding combat because I'm just so much more interested in the world puzzles, and then like even the story. Like I don't know, the characters are so great. Bob is so awesome. Like he's so hilarious. Like I know I'm
gonna chill here.
Yeah, he's so hilarious. But yeah, really enjoying Paper Mario, and then Diablo 3. So I had Diablo 3 back on PS3, and played
you never
through.
Finished it.
No, that was one that me and my buddy would stay up. We stayed up through like a Thanksgiving vacation.
So you finished Diablo 3 before you finished Bioshock Infinite.
Yes, that's correct.
It's not going to die, people. He's going to keep bringing it up.
I am going
to have to play the game.
I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed that he didn't play a game.
Me and my buddy played for like 2 or 3 days straight, basically over like a Thanksgiving vacation. Like we were both at the school in Wisconsin. Everyone else went home for the holidays to see their families, and we're like, we don't want to see our families, or we couldn't afford to drive home, basically. So we just like stayed in the dorms and played Diablo 3 for whatever the 3 or 4 days that we got off for Thanksgiving.
On PC or on?
So this was on PS3 back in the day, and we played forever, loved it. Then on PS4, my brother got me the Ultimate Edition that came with like the expansion that they did, and I just never played through it because it was one of those things where in order to play the expansion, you got to play through the original content. And I'm like, oh man, I've already put in like hundreds of hours in the original one. I don't know if I can like jump in that again. Well, my brother, it was before Griffin was born, so over 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago maybe. It would have been right before that episode I wasn't on though. He reached out to me like, hey, I picked up Diablo on PC. Do you want to play with me? I'm like, sure. Yeah, why not? I found it online somewhere for cheap. It was like $15-20 for the base game and the expansion, and jumped in. And he's not playing through the story. I don't know what he's doing. He's just like not raids, but they have like these challenges that you can do. Yeah. And I went from he was already at max level and was like not prestiging. That's like the Call of Duty term, but whatever prestiging is in Diablo. Yeah. Seasons. Like my brother is like insane in the game. He's only been playing a short while. Well, I jumped in at level 1. We played for 3 hours that night. In 3 hours, I was up to level 68. In 70s max level.
Wow.
Because we were basically playing on the hardest difficulty with other extra like difficulty modifiers on top of it, because that's what my brother's playing at. He's like, you're probably gonna die a lot, but you'll level up really quickly. Sure enough, like the first time, because you share XP, he killed like 2 enemies, like basic zombies, and I went from like level 1 to like level 15. I'm like, holy crap, like this is amazing. So basically he's been carrying me. That's all we played, was just like those 3-4 hours, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. I did go back later and play for like a couple hours when he wasn't available, but I'm like, I'm going to start going through the story because I really want to play the expansion. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, the expansion always just looked super cool to me. Because it follows this, who the heck is it? Reaper of Souls, that's what it's called. Yeah. Reaper of Souls. So it has like a really cool, like the main big bad boss looks super awesome. And I always love this.
Necromancer DLC in it?
So Necromancer, that was DLC that came out after that. That was kind of like a third DLC that came out. So I didn't get the Necromancer DLC. The only thing that came in that DLC is basically just the Necromancer class. That's all it added. And from my brother was like, it's not like it's a really crappy class. Like it's not very, it's like super weak. It's not tuned very well, so it's like not fun to play. I'm like, oh, okay, I won't pay the extra $5-10 for that DLC
which is a bummer.
if it's not a fun class to play as. It sounds
Necromancer
awesome.
and Diablo 2 is so legit.
Okay. Yeah, I love the aesthetic of the Necromancer. I'm like, oh, that sounds right up my alley. That
You
sounds
play
super
Diablo 2?
cool. I did not.
No.
I was not
Diablo
a PC.
2, guys.
I was not a PC gamer until like the past 2 years, maybe.
Diablo 2 literally dominated the entire junior high. That's all I did for junior high. Go to swim practice, play Diablo. Wake up in the morning, play Diablo. Finish school, play Diablo. Oh man, that game.
That's crazy.
Diablo 2,
Yeah,
man.
well, Diablo 3 is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. I'm sure it's not as fun as 2. So if you guys, I don't know if Zech, if you have it on PC, or if you're even remotely interested, but if you ever want to play, hit me up because I don't know, I'm not great at it, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
What class do I have on? I think I have
I'm a demon hunter.
I have a demon hunter.
That was my go-to on PS3, and I was like, I'm just going to go with what I know. So I have my dual crossbows and just like lighting stuff up.
Oh, a monk. I have a demon hunter and a monk. Dude, a monk's pretty fun.
Monks are insane. Cool. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. Nothing too crazy. But
nice.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Fall Guys a little bit because I was like, I don't think you guys had played it, but
it's new and topical.
It's fun as long as you're not hyper competitive. There's some people who play it alone and just love it. My problem is I didn't think I have a competitive bone in my body, but when I get playing Fall Guys, man, that brings the worst out of me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man,
I'm used to doing like a topic of the show here, but now we do mailbag. So I guess this is the end.
This is the end.
Close it
out.
Time. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. It has been a pleasure being back with you two fine gentlemen. Well, likewise. One fine gentleman, and then
I was going to say
that other guy.
That was really sweet of you. But thank you. Anyway,
if you really truly love us and our show and want to help us continue to bring you awesome content, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us over there, and that just helps us tremendously with keeping lights on. And keeping up on some good content, whether it's getting games, movies, shows, whatever. We haven't done, obviously, movie theaters aren't a thing at this point, so maybe not movies and shows, but the more supporters we have, the more cool giveaways we can do. So support us over there, and you might even get, I don't know, cool shirt, something like this. Rate and review us over on your podcast app of choice, on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe. That way you get notifications when the new episodes come out. Check us out at supergamerboys.com/store. You can get some sweet merch like the shirt JJ is wearing. That one's over there. And you can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I am on Twitter at gmorlang. JJ is on Twitter at
JJ Purdom.
And Zech is over on Twitter and Instagram
at Nerd Dad Zech, I think is my handle now. Nerd Dad Zech.
Why do you keep changing it?
Because I'm cool.
That just seems so confusing.
That is pretty cool. Actually, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. Check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. And that is it.
Right.
That concludes the show.
Let's not drag it out because I got a crap on deck that'll choke a donkey. So, ladies and gentlemen, the guy looks kind of like a hobbit. He was the host of the show the last couple of weeks. Right now, he's number 2. Next week, who knows? You never know with these guys. But that guy is Zech Keenan. Everybody calls him a nerd dad. Of course, the guy who is the captain of the ship, leader, and the creator.
And your dad.
Head diaper change, and apparently my dad, and how that works out is Garrett Moorlang. It's good to see Garrett back and back on the Super Gamer Boys where he belongs. And I'm JJ Pruden. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
You really got to finish Infinite, dude. You suck. I'm shocked. I'm just completely shocked.
Are you Bioshocked?
I'm Bioshocked.